Hey everyone, welcome to another shelf series video. Before we start, I wanted to talk about these Hexagon stands because I get asked about them a lot. I did design these and they are 3D printed, and you can 3D print them yourself if you have a 3D printer. The files are available on my website listed below. If you don't have a printer, message me on Instagram and I'll help point you in the direction of someone that can print it for you. But today we're doing the Book of Boba Fett. I'm really excited to get away from the Skywalker saga just for a little bit. This throne was printed by 2797 Studios and designed by Photonic Figures. They sent it to me and I painted it up, and it's going to be the base for our shelf today. And you know, there's not a lot of figures for Book of Boba Fett, but I want to show you guys how I've managed to sort of build out my Boba Fett shelf with the slim pickings that we have. Let's take a look at the big guy himself, Boba Fett. On the left, we have the Black Series version, and on the right, we have the Figuarts. So the Black Series came out a lot better than people were expecting. The promo photos for this weren't the best. This is a deluxe figure, so it comes at a slightly higher price point due to the number of paint applications on it. And then this is the Figuarts one. I'm pretty unimpressed with the Figuarts one, to be honest. I think the green color is off. The head sculpt isn't great. I got a good face print, but I saw some pretty bad ones. All of the accessories and the weapons on the Figuarts are beautiful. They're really well painted and really crisp, but I'm actually going to go with the Black Series one for this. But I want to show you my customized Black Series one. All I did was a dark wash, which is when you use a little bit of black paint and some water and kind of cover the whole figure with it. And you can see how it brought the greens down just a little bit. And then once that was dry, I did a metallic dry brushing over top just to give it a little bit of a sheen. But I do want to cover all of this in a separate video. I know that customizing or just, bringing paint to your figures is very scary. You don't want to ruin them or, have to replace them. And so I'll do my best to cover just some pretty safe and foolproof ways to improve your figures with very minimal effort and cost. So stay tuned for that video. Hit the subscribe button if you are interested in seeing that. And let me know if there's any aspect of that you're really interested in particular, something that you've heard about or something that you want to learn, such as weathering your figures or just getting rid of the shiny faces, but I'll try to cover all of that very soon. And next we have Fennec Shand. This is one of my favorite Black Series figures of all time. I did do some customizing on this. I did the dark wash and some metallic features again, and you can see how it sort of fills in the details on her skirt. And then I did a metallic dry brushing on the gun, and you can see that really just wakes it up and makes it look a lot more premium and real. So we'll go ahead and seat her right there and get her into place. Now, Hasbro had been working on a Black Chrysanthemum figure before he ever showed up in Book of Boba Fett, and unfortunately it was just a cheap repaint and people were really unhappy with it, so I decided to make my own. This armor kit is from John Walker Customs. I had to really beef him up using epoxy sculpt that I put on top of a Zalbar figure. I'll give you a quick look at that process. So I just kind of layered, used a little knife to add some fur texture, painted the armor, and then he still wasn't really feeling bulky enough, so I just kept adding bulk until he kind of got where I wanted him, and so that's what we ended up with. I've got 2 of him available on my website below as of the time of recording this video, but we'll go stick him into place here, and I think he looks so much better than the Hasbro version. Then we've got 8D8. This is a resin printed kit from MDC Customs, and I painted it up myself. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I think it's an incredible sculpt, and I was really excited to get this just to flesh out this shelf a little bit. I'm so happy for all of these sculptors and customizers in this community that are just really helping to fill the gaps in a lot of these figures. And what I want to do with this shelf is on the left have sort of his like Tatooine escape Tuscan era, and on the right all of the kind of Mandalorian stuff, and in the middle some more of the palace stuff, so just covering kind of his whole arc, or the whole arc of the series. So what is Jabba's palace without a Gamorrean guard? This isn't exactly the version that we saw in Book of Boba Fett, but I think it's just such an iconic part of Jabba's palace, or Boba's palace, and I think he belongs there. And actually, while we're on this subject, I'm gonna add this archway that I printed about a year ago. It's kind of a mess because it's been in storage, but the files are on my Patreon and website if you're interested in printing it. Then we've got a custom Boba Fett that I made with a Fett clone head. This is from a Ghostbusters stance figure, and then I did some epoxy sculpt to represent the damage on his clothes, but it's really the Fett clone head that seals the deal. I'll have him linked below, as well as everyone else that I've mentioned so far, but we'll go ahead and stick him right here. I was really happy with the way this custom turned out. And then also from this scene is the Tuscan Child. This is of course another custom. I used the Tuscan Raider head and I think the arms, and then I used this podcast Ghostbusters figure as well. You can see the process here. That skirt piece is from Rey from The Force Awakens, and then I sculpted some epoxy on top of that, gave it a paint job, and was really happy with how this turned out. That little white strap is actually a piece of filament that I pulled right off the printer. And then we've got the Rodian Prisoner. This is a Hero Mashers Greedo figure that was $8 on Amazon with a Cal Kestis body, repainted, and with a piece of twine around the wrists. It's not, completely accurate, but I feel like it looks pretty much like the character, and you just kind of know exactly who it is when you see it. He's not the most major character, so we'll put him towards the back here. And then we've got Cobb Vance. I managed to get this figure like 6 months ago, it feels, from a seller overseas. And then I had Tim's Toys paint the face. He did an incredible job here. This is the original Black Series sculpt. He just really made it better with paint, and I love the way this looks, and we'll put it right here. And next we have Cad Bane. So this is the Black Series version of the figure from Clone Wars. It's not exactly accurate to his outfit in Book of Boba Fett, but luckily Frederick's Figures sent me this custom on my birthday this year, and this is a 3D printed head with a lot of other 3D printed parts, and he did his famous pastel work, which we covered in the Max Rebo video. Go check that out if you're interested in his paint work. But this came out so good. I was so thrilled to get this, and this is going right in the front of the shelf here. Actually, he's covering up the Rodian, so let's put him up here where he's a little taller. Then we've got one of our characters from the Pike Syndicate. Failed Imagineers printed this for me. This is a model I found on CG Trader, and I painted it myself. I did just some airbrushing on the clothes. I did the yellow first, and then put some very thin painter's tape down, and then airbrushed blue on top, and then peeled back the tape to get those clean yellow stripes. And then the face is airbrushed with the blue, and then the pink, and then a little bit of dry brushing on top, and then I did the eyes last with a gloss coat to wake them up a little bit. And as much as I like this figure, he's kind of a traffic cone, so we're going to switch them around so he's not blocking anyone from view. One of the most exciting parts of Book of Boba Fett was seeing Max Rebo, so here he is in all his glory. I of course covered this in another video in depth, so we'll just go ahead and place him here. This isn't his Book of Boba Fett keyboard, but I don't really want to repaint the whole thing just for this shelf, but thank you, Frederick, for that. And while we're at it, let's throw R5 right in here. I covered him in my A New Hope video, so we don't have to look too closely at him. Then we have Mando. This is a helmet and cape from OT Customs, and Grogu and the bag are from the new Figuarts from the Season 2 Mando. So we'll go ahead and stick him over here and start our episode 5 and 6 area with Mando. And of course, another fun cameo was Ahsoka Tano in her Mandalorian look. This is one of everyone's favorite Black Series figures of all time, including myself. We'll give her, she wasn't really in an action pose in this, so we'll give her little arms cross pose with the head tilt, the way she was leaning on that tree when Mando first saw her. And then another fun cameo was R2-D2. This is the Figuarts R2-D2. Really love this figure. He scales much better with the Black Series than the Black Series one does, and it's just a much cleaner paint job, just looks really nice. And then continuing that side of the shelf, we have the Figuarts Luke Skywalker from Mandalorian Season 2. This isn't accurate to his Book of Boba Fett outfit, which I thought was a lot cooler, but this is what we have for now. Hopefully we'll see that outfit in either Figuarts or Black Series, but gonna head and stick him right here. And now speaking of Figuarts, I know that they're a little bit harder to get and a little bit more expensive, but I do really like the way that they look some of the time, and I want to showcase that here just since I think everyone's pretty familiar with the Black Series ones at this point, and figured I'll give you guys something different to look at than what you're used to seeing, but here it is compared to the Black Series one on the right. I just prefer the way that the cleaner lines look on the Figuarts, so we'll put her right there on top. And then we'll continue the Figuarts train with the Heavy Mandalorian, also known as Paz Vizsla. His head is really tiny on this figure. I don't think that it looks great, but just the paint job and all the accessories and just the cleanness of the figure, I guess, I really like. But let's give him Moff Gideon's Darksaber. I took a little bit of white paint to the edge just to bring it out a little bit, but we'll go ahead and stick him there. And with that, we are finished with our Book of Boba Fett shelf. We don't have as many official releases from this as we do for The Mandalorian and even Kenobi, which has just aired. It seems like Lucasfilm wasn't pushing this as hard or didn't give Hasbro as much of a heads up for new characters and figures as they have with Kenobi, but love the 2 figures that we have, and this leaves so much room for customizers and other people in the community to sort of create their own thing, and I hope it inspires you to try creating your own characters or your own Black Series figures. If you've made it this far, please leave a like, please subscribe, and let me know in the comments which figure from this show you would most like to see. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.